This is Out of the Box with your host, Jonathan Clark. Out of the Box, Sunday nights at 9 on Q1043.
Well, he's a very busy man. I mean, when isn't he always very busy? He has a new album out called Orgy of the Damned, a blues album with really cool blues covers with an all-star lineup of singers. What a list of singers. Billy F. Gibbons, Chris Stapleton, Iggy Pop, Paul Rogers, Brian Johnson, Chris Robinson, Gary Clark Jr., the list goes on. And the Serpent Tour, which we'll get to in a minute, coming to Pier 17, August 4th. All the info at slashonline.com. His name is Slash. Slash, first question. This must have been a blast working with these legendary vocalists.
Yeah, it was a really fun record to make and a real honor to work with all these people. It was very cool, and everybody was great to work with. Like, they were so eager to sing the songs and enthusiastic about it, and the music really connected with them. So yeah, it was definitely a great experience.
Slash, I've spoken to a lot of guitar players. Some are great like you. Most are mediocre like me. But to a person, every guitar player remembers the first song that they were actually could play on the guitar. But I'm going to modify that question to you slightly because of this blues album. Do you remember the first song that you could play a blues pentatonic scale to, note for note?
That's actually a really great question because I remember when I first was able, like I first really put together a pentatonic, that sound. And I remember like the heavens parted and it was like, and I just started. And I think at the time it was Born Under a Bad Sign was where I
Oh,
first
yeah.
thing that I ever applied that to. And that's one of the reasons why that song's on this record. It was always a big influence on me.
Right, the Clapton riffs are so sick on that. Oh my God, I can imagine the first time hearing that and then playing it.
It was Albert King the
Oh,
first
Albert
time I
King,
ever.
yeah, of course, the cover, but Cream did the cover, right?
They
Um,
did. It
uh,
was actually one of those songs that when we put it on the record, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go against my own best judgment because this song's been done so many times, but I'm gonna do this anyway because I want to play this riff. And I got Paul Rogers to sing it,
oh,
and then I was like, okay, so you guys don't have Paul Rogers on your version.
that's funny. Paul Rogers, it's just not fair how good he still can sing. I
Oh,
mean,
and he's amazing.
he's ageless, right?
His take on this song really is sublime. It's like it brings it all home. You're like, yeah, that's why he's Paul Rogers.
I want to play the Peter Green era Fleetwood Mac song, Oh Well, from the new album with the great Chris Stapleton on the lead vocals. Now, there's a guy that one would think he blends right in to do a blues cover.
Yeah, he did a great job on this song. And he's such an amazing artist. And I'd never met him before, but we'd done some shows together because he played with Guns N' Roses a couple times. So I had this idea that he would be great for this song, and I called him up, and I got his phone number from somebody else. So like it was totally out of the blue. This phone rings. I'm sure my name didn't pop up, right? So anyway,
So you go, this is Slash, and he goes, get out of here.
it was funny. But he was really gracious, and I caught him at a time where he was really busy touring around and doing shows all over the place. He really bent over backwards to get this recording done for me. And it came out great.
There's new music from Slash with Chris Stapleton on the lead vocals. Their take on the Peter Green era Fleetwood Mac song Oh Well from Slash's new album Orgy of the Damned here on Q104.3's Out of the Box. Slash, the other song I want to play right now from the new album is your take on the Howlin' Wolf classic Killing Floor. And another stellar lineup in the studio for this recording. Brian Johnson of AC/DC lead vocals, Steven Tyler on the blues harp. Tell us how this song came together for the record.
All right. Well, so this is probably one of those songs that I always wanted to cover. And it's such a great guitar riff. And it's actually the combination of two songs. It's Killing Floor and it's also Rockin' Daddy because that there's those two songs actually are very similar, but there's two cool guitar riffs on both, and I put them together. And so once we'd established that arrangement that we did, I thought, Brian Johnson, just something about Brian's you know and so I called Brian up, and lo and behold, he was heavily influenced by Howling Wolf, and he was really excited to do this cover. And so I flew with the tape out Sarasota, Florida, and we found this little studio in Sarasota called Burnt Orange. It's a little tiny, cool little tiny place. And he went in there and just sang I was gonna just sang the hell out of it, and it was great to watch him do it. And he just sang it with this certain kind of soul and this whole delivery that was like keeping in line with the Howlin' Wolf version. But it was a type of a way of singing that I'd never heard him do before.
Right. I
So
was
it
going
was
to say
really cool.
it's a different sort of, it's not an AC/DC take at all.
So it's really, I felt really honored to have been able to well, just to have him on the record, but to be one of the only people that's actually recorded him in that fashion. And then I brought the tape back to LA, and I heard from Steve Tyler, and I guess in conversation, I told him I was putting harmonica on that song, and he goes, "Oh, let me do it," you know. And he showed up like literally like within the hour, and put this great impromptu harp on it and a little bit of vocal thing on there. It's really cool.
And there's new music from Slash here on Q104.3's Out of the Box. Killing Floor, the Howlin' Wolf classic from Slash's new album, Orgy of the Damned. Slash, I want to get to the Serpent Festival. Serpent stands for Solidarity, Engagement, Restore, Peace, Equality, Tolerance, which is awesome. Tell us about the Serpent Festival. You've got an incredible lineup for this tour. It's actually coming to the Pier 17 rooftop on the East River here in New York
Yeah.
City, August 4th. But tell us about Serpent
Yeah.
Festival.
All right. Well, I mean, obviously it's a blues festival, and getting all these artists together. And I thought for a blues festival, what we should really do is try to advocate for bringing people together, because there's so much energy being put to dividing everybody
Oh,
right now. It's
God, yeah.
actually scary. And I just had this feeling of doing something like that. And the acronym just came because I really wanted to support those different key things that I think are really important to verbalize, right? And then it's a charity component to this, and it's reaching out to a bunch of different charities that support people who've been disenfranchised and sidelined. There's a thing about racial equality in there, and also supporting mental illness, and just some things I think that are really important to address right now, and try and make this also very all inclusive, so all genders, all races, all religions, all nationalities, to just get people together and be together for a day just to enjoy a bunch of really good music. So that's the premise, and I think we'll be able to pull it off. I think it's going to be, a summertime blues kind of thing. I think it'll be really good. The spirit will be there. And that particular venue I played before, it's an awesome backdrop for
Right on the
this.
East River, man. It's going to be beautiful.
I mean, anybody who's been there knows, but anybody who's not been there is going to love this place.
And I see on the that particular tour date, Keb Mo, Robert Randolph, and ZZ Ward also on that show.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different artists spread out through the whole tour, and so we have different combinations, throughout. So
Right.
that one, yeah. So Robert Randolph, who I'm actually good friends with, but ZZ Ward, who's great, and she and I've never met, so that's gonna be cool. And then Kebmo is Kebmo. I've
Uh,
never met him either, but I've been listening to him for a few years now. So
Absolutely. Slash is with us. The new album, Orgy of the Damned. The Serpent Festival coming to the Pier 17 rooftop right here in NYC on the East River, August 4th. Can't wait for that. I want to ask you real quick about Wolf Van Halen. I know he did some dates with you and Miles in Europe, and I think you kind of jammed with him on a couple of those shows, right?
well, we did the last show that we did, which was in Paris. We did a Highway to Hell together.
Oh,
Yeah, that was the only time during the tour that we jammed together. But it was a great tour, great lineup, the two of us together. Very, very
absolutely.
cool.
You've made lots of rock and roll history in your life so far. You've played all over the world, played and recorded with many legendary artists, Grammys, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, all of that. What is it that you love most about this life that you have chosen?
Well, I think probably more than anything is really being able to play live. I think that was always a big motivation for me. I mean, as a guitar player, I wanted to learn how to play guitar and I wanted to be able to write songs and be in a band. But all of that at the end of the day was a vehicle to be able to go out and just play sort of like by the seat of your pants, in front of people. And there's an energy to that a thing to it that I love. It's what keeps me out there on the road because God knows being on the road it's not easy, but it affords you to be able to go out there and play anywhere from 45 to 2 hours to even 3 hours every night. And that makes it worth it to me.
I love it. Hey, Slash, from everyone here in New York City and the tri-state area and Q1043 listeners, we thank you so much for all the great music over the years and the continued new music, too. So thank you so much, man. We'll see you August 4th at Pier 17.
Good talking to you, man. Cheers.
This is Out of the Box with your host, Jonathan Clark. Out of the Box, Sunday nights at 9 on Q1043.